Well, Michael Penix is out for the season with a partially torn ACL, and that means that the Atlanta Falcons are officially screwed for the foreseeable future. And I ain't just talking about for the rest of this season. I'm talking about next season and maybe even the season after that. We're going to get into it. But before we get started on that, I want to tell you guys to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share, and tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a family member, tell anybody to support my channel. Michael Penix is officially out for the season with it seems like it's a partially torn ACL. This isn't good, ladies and gentlemen. This is, you talking about when it rains, it pours. I mean, that's exactly what is turning into when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons. They're already on a 5-game losing streak. They got swept by the Carolina Panthers of all teams. The Carolina Panthers just swept them, scored 30 points in both games. So you're 3-7. You're on a 5-game losing streak, and now you're gonna be without your starting quarterback, Michael Penix. And it's not like Michael Penix was lighting the world on fire to begin with. But now you're without him, and yeah, I mean this isn't going too well for the Atlanta Falcons. I mean this team is, I'm just gonna lay it out there. This team is beyond screwed. The Atlanta Falcons are screwed for the foreseeable future. And like I said in the preview, I'm not just talking about for the rest of this season, because we all know this team is cooked. This team isn't going to the playoffs. And I'm not even sure this team's going to win another game the rest of the season. Like, I might be shocked if they win one game at this rate. And so you're screwed. You're done. The season's already over at this point. And quite honestly, I think next season is probably over as well. Like, I think next season is in jeopardy with this injury news with Michael Penix, because this is his 4th ACL that he's torn. He's torn 3 previous ACLs in his football career. And this is a guy that has a checkered injury past. His injury history is probably one of the main reasons why Michael Penix wasn't that highly thought of as a prospect, and why people were kind of killing the Falcons when the Falcons drafted him 8th overall in 2014. And so now you have a quarterback that's hurt, and this is a guy that, again, like, Michael Penix was inconsistent this season as a quarterback to begin with. Now we can make a debate as far as like why he was inconsistent. I think most Falcon fans will probably tell you that, you know what, Zach Robinson was a problem. Like, he hurt his development. Probably right, but Michael Penix himself just was not consistently productive for this team this season when he was out there on the field. And, you know, his aforementioned accuracy issues are well documented. And so now he's out for the season. And for me, in my opinion, the fact that Michael Penix is out for the season, and the fact that this injury news is out there, this should be the end of Raheem Morris, Terry Fontenot, and Zach Robinson, and everybody on the coaching staff. At this point, the Atlanta Falcons need to clean house. Just fire everybody. Get rid of the front office. Get rid of the coaching staff. Get rid of everybody that's been associated with this mess. Because, my Lord, the Atlanta Falcons are screwed. The front office and the coaching staff just absolutely has made things worse for the Falcons moving forward. I don't see a way out of this. I really don't. And what's equally as bad, and this is why Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris need to go. Back when they first came in, when Raheem Morris came in 2024, they knew that they needed to address the quarterback situation. And what did these dudes do? They go after Kirk Cousins and they sign him to $100 million guaranteed with a no trade clause. And they just say, we're going to get Kirk Cousins. And what do they do after they get Kirk Cousins? They get Kirk Cousins, and he's supposedly their guy. That's their option. That's their guy. They get Kirk Cousins. And then a few weeks later, with the assumption that, Kirk Cousins is going to be the guy on our team moving forward. We're going to go with, he's the guy. 2 weeks before the draft, they work out Michael Penix. After giving Kirk Cousins $100 million guaranteed and a no trade clause, they work out Michael Penix 2 weeks before the draft at the University of Washington. And he has this great workout at the University of Washington. And then after this workout, they then conclude that, Michael Penix is our guy. We're going to draft him. And without even acknowledging the injury concerns that he's had previously, the checkered past with his torn ACLs, and it's like the Falcons just ignored all of that. And by the way, there's the thing with Michael Penix. He wasn't that highly thought of as a first-round quarterback. Many mock drafts had this dude as like a second-round pick. Many of them. There might have been like a few that maybe had him in like the late first round, but most of the mock drafts had him as like a second-round pick. And the Falcons just took him, didn't care, just took him. Despite the fact that they already signed Kirk Cousins to all this money, and they just said, we're gonna 2 weeks later we're gonna draft Michael Penix. And my problem with that, and it's always been my problem with the Falcons, it's processing. Like, what in the world would make you believe that you go after Kirk Cousins, you sign him to all this money and this guaranteed money, then all of a sudden, just a few weeks later, 2 weeks before the draft, you change your mind? You change your mind and you conclude that Michael Penix has got just because of a workout? What happened to scouting him throughout the whole year? What happened to just going to the University of Washington games and watching him play football, watching him on film? Why did it take you 2 weeks before the draft to have a workout with the guy and for him to just be so impressive in this supposedly workout just for you to conclude that he's your guy then? Like, wouldn't a smart organization do their homework, study film, watch this dude throughout the entire year, and after you do that, you finally come to an evaluation that, maybe this guy ain't it. Maybe Michael Penix isn't it. Maybe Michael Penix is too injury prone. Like, and it just goes back to my frustration with this Atlanta Falcons organization over the past few years. I've said it before, and I'm gonna keep on harping on it. The Atlanta Falcons decisions like we've seen with the Kirk Cousins signing and them drafting Michael Penix, those two decisions right there is the perfect example of why I associate the Atlanta Falcons. Instead of their slogan being "Rise Up," their slogan should be "Eat, Sleep, Breathe, Losing." Because going after Kirk Cousins, giving him $100 million guaranteed after he tore his Achilles, and then going after drafting Michael Penix, even though we all know about his well-documented injury problems and his torn ACLs, those moves right there are the perfect example of moves that you make when you eat, breathe, sleep, losing. And that's what the Atlanta Falcons do. These are the type of decisions that loser franchises make. Teams like the Jets, the Raiders, the Browns, those are the type of moves that do the stupid kind of stuff that the Falcons do when you're going after Kirk Cousins and drafting Michael Penix despite all their flaws and issues. And the Atlanta Falcons did exactly that, making dumb moves like that. This is Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris should be gone just because of those moves right there alone. Those moves are blown up in their faces. And the Atlanta Falcons, as a result of it, are right back at square one, just where they were in 2021, with no real quarterback, with no solution to the quarterback position. We still don't have a quarterback right now. We don't have a long-term solution, because we all know it ain't Kirk Cousins. I mean, we seen Kirk Cousins play on the field, and he's just washed up, despite giving him $100 million guaranteed. And you're looking at Michael Penix, and he's showing flashes. But the guy this is his fourth ACL injury. I mean, let's just be real. You think Michael Penix is gonna all of a sudden, after this ACL problem, gonna stay healthy moving forward? I don't. It's not gonna happen. Dude is injury prone as it gets. The guy is a walking injury problem. And so now, this is a guy that's going to have to rehab, and he's going to be spending part of the offseason rehabbing, if not most of it, maybe all of it rehabbing, depending how serious his ACL injury is. And my guess is probably going to be like a 6-month injury, right? And so you're talking about a guy that probably won't be right until what, April, May? And so, like I said, and that's like the best case scenario. And so you're gonna have a guy that's spending time rehabbing instead of working on his game, cleaning up his footwork, working on his accuracy as a thrower, things that we all know Michael Penix needs to work on. And so you have a guy that's gonna be spending time doing this, rehabbing, and like, it's just valuable reps that's just gonna be missing from Michael Penix. And moving forward, man, you're talking, because you don't have your first round pick. And that's another problem that the Atlanta Falcons are facing right now, because they made the James Pierce trade. And look, I think James Pierce has some potential. Like, he got some upside to him. But, I mean, like, all of a sudden, like, you made this James Pierce move with the idea that, this was our pass rush problem, that we solved our pass rush, and that we have enough to make it deep to get to the playoffs. This is why you gave up that first round pick. And look, the pass rush has been very good this season, and I think James Pierce has a bright future. But you're looking at it now, hindsight 2020, and it's like, man, this team is so bad right now that it would have been nice to have a first round pick, and this isn't good. Like, it just isn't. Like, this is bad. This is really, really, really bad. It just is. And I'm just, this is so bleak right now for the Falcons. Like, I can't put into words how very bleak the Atlanta Falcons' future is right now. You're talking about a team that you don't have a franchise quarterback. You spend all these resources trying to get skill position wide receivers. You had Kyle Pitts. You drafted him number 4th overall. That's looking like a miss. And look, I think Kyle Pitts is talented. I think on the right team, I think he can have a role. He'll have a role, and he'll contribute on the right team. I think he still has some talent, but like, you overdrafted him, and he's out. I mean, you overdrafted him. You defensively, look, I think the defense is talented, but it took you 5 years to add some talent to the defense, right? You got some age on the offensive line. Jake Matthews is getting up there in age. The right tackle position is a little shaky. And so you have that. I'm just, it's not good, man. Like it's painful to admit this, but the Falcons in 2025 are in no different of a position compared to where they were in 2021. And no matter how you slice it, that's an absolute failure. And when you look at this season, the 2025 Atlanta Falcons, one can make an argument that this has been the worst season for the Falcons since 2007, the year Mike Vick went to prison for dogfighting, and the year that Bobby Petrino became the head coach and he ended up quitting on the team, going to Arkansas, and sending the Falcons and sending the letters to the players and all their locker rooms and all that other stuff. Like, that was a nightmare season. This season, while I'm not going to say that this season is worse than that season, it's up there. This season is a colossal disaster. I mean, 3-7 without your first round pick, and your starting quarterback that you thought was your franchise quarterback, he's injured out for the season, and this is a guy that wasn't playing all that well to begin with. I mean, yikes. I mean, just a colossal disaster for the Falcons. There's just no other way to say it. Like, it's bad. It's bad. And yeah. It's just a colossal disaster. And I think a lot of people have to pay for this. And Terry Fontenot, Raheem Morris, and the rest of the Atlanta Falcons coaching staff, they all gotta go. It's time for the Falcons to clean house. It's time for the Falcons to start over. And as I've said before, man, Atlanta Falcon fans, I mean, we deserve better than this. We deserve better than this. We deserve more than what the Falcons have put forth. And we just do, man. And what's equally as bad is, even if the Falcons do make these changes, I mean, you look at Arthur Blank's history of hiring GMs and coaches. And he's missed on at least two coaches in a row. He missed on Arthur Smith, and now he's missed on Raheem Morris. And you look at the general manager hire, he missed on Terry Fontenot. Do you trust Arthur Blank to get the right guy? Do you trust him to find the right coach? Do you trust him to find the right general manager? I got news for y'all. I don't. Because he hasn't done it in quite some time. You know? And that's just the facts. Like, it's just this. And so the Atlanta Falcons got a lot of problems. It's a lot of problems. And the truth of the matter is, when you look at the Atlanta Falcons, they're a bottom 5 franchise in the NFL. When you look at how they've been ran, you look at the results, you look at the fact that this team is looking at missing the playoffs 11 times in 13 years. You're looking at the fact that they are tied for the second longest playoff drought in the NFL behind the Jets, and they're tied with the Panthers. And guess what? There's an outside chance the Panthers might make the playoffs. I mean, they have a winning record as I'm speaking, 6-5. They're right there in the playoff mix. And so there's a chance that the Panthers might break their playoff drought. Now you're looking at the Falcons having the second longest drought in the league. It's bad, man. It's bad. And the painful, harsh truth of it all is, it ain't going to get better. It's not going to get better. At the very least, it's not going to get better until the Atlanta Falcons find their franchise quarterback. And, hey, they don't have a first-round pick. And this draft coming up seems like it's not even the strongest quarterback draft to begin with. And so, it's tough, man. It's tough sledding. And it's just bad, man. Like, I've said this constantly. The Atlanta Falcons and the way that they operate their business, they eat, sleep, breathe, lose. It's what they're committed to. They're committed to eating, sleeping, breathing, and losing. It's what the Atlanta Falcons do. And it's sad. And if you're an Atlanta sports fan, you should be depressed with these Atlanta Falcons and how they and where this organization is at, because I don't see it getting better. I really don't. And it's unfortunate. And man, like, you look at the glory days that the Falcons used to have with Matt Ryan and Michael Turner and Roddy White and Julio Jones and Tony Gonzalez. I mean, those were the glory days. Remember, the Falcons defense would do them segments on Falcons.com, D Block, with Sean Weatherspoon and the crew. I mean, them days are long gone, man. And this is all we got right now, man. It's just a bunch of mess. And it's just nothing else I can really say at this point, man. It's depressing. But I'll tell you one thing. There's another team in Atlanta that's the complete opposite of the Atlanta Falcons right now. And I'm talking about the Atlanta Hawks. You talk about a team that's winning. The Atlanta Hawks are winning. And their organization is actually making some great moves. Bringing in Porzingis, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. I know Trae Young's injured, but he's going to come back. And, I'm hearing, and people want to make some stuff about the Hawks being better without Trae or whatever, but whatever. My Hawks are on the right track. And don't forget, we got that Pelicans pick that's looking really juicy right now. And so there's a team in Atlanta that's doing some things. Shout out to the Atlanta Hawks. I might actually do a segment on them one day. Stay tuned for that. But back to the Falcons. I mean, it's just depressing, man. I mean, I got nothing else to say. The Falcons are so the Falcons are so bad. I can't even make fun of the Saints. They're bad, and I can't even make fun of them because the Falcons are so bad right now, man. It's depressing. It sucks. But hey, man, it is what it is. And the guys that I feel the most bad for when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons is Bijan Robinson and Drake London. Those two individuals deserve so much better than these Atlanta Falcons. They deserve better. There's a part of me that's actually hoping and wishing that Bijan Robinson and Drake London can just ask for a trade and just get out of Atlanta. Get out of it. Just play for. I want them to ask for a trade and ask to play for a different team. They don't deserve any of this. Drake London and Bijan Robinson are the two guys that put their hearts out on. They go to work. They give everything they got. They produce to the best of their ability, and they leave it all out there on the line. And they just got nothing to show for it, man. I really feel bad for both of them two brothers, man. I feel bad for Bijan Robinson and Drake London. I feel bad for both of them because they deserve so much better, so much more. They deserve better than what the Atlanta Falcons have provided them. It's really sad, man. But it's unfortunate. And like I said, man, as an Atlanta Falcon fan, it's hard, man. I would not wish being a Falcon fan upon anybody because it's rough right now, man. It really is. And as I stated before, man, I don't think this is gonna get better. I don't. This is as bad as I've ever remember being a Falcon fan. And I've been through some low points, man, but it ain't getting much worse than this, man. Like it's bad. It's really bad right now when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons, and unfortunately, I just think it's gonna stay. I think it's gonna stay that way, man, because I think this team's screwed for the foreseeable future, and the Michael Penix injury news just solidifies it. It's just what it is, man.